Hi, I'm Natalie Ledwell, and today I'd like to share with you a quick and effective exercise to attract money right now. So, can I ask you a quick and personal question? How is your relationship with money? Is it good and healthy, or is it bad and chaotic? Now, you should know this by simply paying attention to how this question makes you feel. So just stop for a moment, check in and go, well, what is my relationship with money? So if thinking about money gives you peace of mind, knowing that you have exactly the right amount that you need, then your relationship with money probably doesn't need much improvement. But if money causes you stress or worry or fear, or even if that question just had that little twang and gives you a bit of anxiety, then it's likely that your relationship isn't that fantastic. So the thing is, sometimes people forget that money is simply energy that needs to flow in and out, and we need to keep that flow to be consistent. And sometimes you need to be okay with the idea of letting it go in order for the floodgates to bring in wealth and abundance and open up for you. So if money is energy or frequency, and our emotions are a frequency that we emit out into the universe, then what emotion does money invoke in you? Now, my good friend Ken Honda, who wrote the book Happy Money, talks about the different emotions that money usually provokes in different people. Now, and I highly recommend the book and that you look out for it. Now, for the first emotions that he talks about is anxiety and fear. If you have anxiety and fear around money, what happens is that you're always asking the question, well, what if? What if I lose my job? What if I can't look after my family? What if this happens? What if that happens? So what happens is that you're staying in this lower frequency place where you're concerned about what could happen, but that would probably never happen. And when you do that, not only are you focusing on what we don't want, which then it actually increases the likelihood of it happening, but you're staying in this lower frequency. When you do that, it shuts off the flow from the universe. Maybe you experience anger and resentment. Sometimes we get into this place of where we think we deserve. We deserve because we're, doing a certain service. Maybe you missed out on an inheritance and you have resentment towards your family about that. Again, anger and resentment are a low frequency emotion. Maybe you feel sadness or sorrow. What happens if you look back on your childhood and there was a very sad situation and you can see your parents were upset and somehow that was tied to money? That could now be your money story. So every time you think about that, or you even think about creating wealth for yourself, through default, sadness and sorrow comes up for you. What about hatred and desperation? If you feel like you've been wronged or if you've been taken advantage of, if someone scammed you. So when you're in hatred and desperation, what happens, again, you start to make bad choices, and again, you're cutting off the flow from the universe, and we want to get into these higher frequencies. What about superiority or inferiority? Often we find that we get in a place where we're having to keep up appearances. We're comparing ourselves to other people, and we want to keep up with the Joneses. And so we want to feel like we're more superior to other people, and so this is why we want more money. And that's the motivation behind making money, which is a toxic reason. Or inferiority, where we feel like we don't have enough because, again, we're comparing ourselves to other people, and it keeps us in that lower frequency. What about guilt and shame? Because of childhood experiences, a lot of people don't think that they deserve to be wealthy. I don't know how many people have said to me, but I don't come from wealth. I don't know anyone who is wealthy. I don't even know how to make money. And if you do make money, you feel like you have guilt around possibly losing your family or friends because they're not in the same wealth bracket as you. What about numbness? It's interesting that this is an emotion because it really is just a checking out. Maybe you're struggling financially, but what you're doing is all these different activities to numb out so you don't have to focus on it. We're watching TV, drinking wine every evening, doing everything that you can to avoid what the actual situation is. Then we have excitement and joy. Now, excitement and joy, we should be excited, we should be joyous, when we're creating wealth and we're doing things that are helping other people and we've got this flow going back and forward. But what happens is that we never show this as adults. It's seen as being crass if we celebrate money or if we celebrate creating wealth. And so we hide this in, and again, we're sort of diminishing our higher energy because we're concerned about how other people will judge us. And what about appreciation and love? You know, there are the 5 love languages. It's a book written by Gary Chapman back in the 1980s. And one of the love languages is giving gifts. So are you someone who appreciates others and wants to show your love through gifts and being able to show your love in that way? And that, again, now we're getting to the higher frequency emotions, which are really helping to open up that flow. And what about happiness? If we can be in happiness and gratitude about how money came to us, why it came to us, what we can do with it, and then be grateful when it's going out again, even when we're paying bills, then we're keeping our frequency high. You know, we're keeping that vibration high, so it's easier for us to attract money as well. So if you ever struggle with letting money go, or even experience guilt when you buy things, then here's a very effective law of attraction exercise that can actually help you to tune into the natural flow of wealth and abundance. So whenever you make a money transaction or make a payment for anything, just imagine all of the good energy that's flowing out of it. Okay, so let's just imagine that all of the really great things that this money will be used for and how it will be benefiting the lives of others. So for example, let's say that you go to a restaurant. Think about how when you pay for your meal, you're going to be helping the server and the chef and all the other team members at that restaurant have better lives or provide for their families. Let's say that you buy a piece of furniture. Think about how all of the things that went together to get the leather, to get the timber, whoever put it together, the truck drivers that actually were able to transport it, all for you to be able to enjoy sitting on it. When you're sending out that money, just think of all of the people that are along that supply chain that are benefiting because you are actually making that purchase. Or even if you buy yourself a little treat, think about how much that you will use this and how happy it made you in that moment, and how happy it will continue to help to make you happy in the moments moving forward. And therefore how the positivity that you're feeling will overflow into those people around you. So every time you do this, not only will you feel great about yourself, but you'll also be eliminating negative feelings like guilt and anxiety and worry, which is exactly the goal of this specific exercise. Now, I'm not saying that you should use this exercise to bring more financial burden to yourself and to start paying for things that you can't afford, but instead use it every time that you need to pay for something, even if it's food or taxes, especially taxes, or bills or anything like that, even if it's something special for yourself, and see how quickly your energy shifts from being in a scarcity mindset to an abundance mindset. Now, I hope that you enjoy this little exercise. Make sure you make some notes and start to implement this into your daily routine so you can really raise your wealth frequency. Now, before I go, I'd love to hear from you. Do you have any other abundance tips or hacks or exercises that have helped you to create more wealth in your life? Please share them in the comment box below because I know that our community would love to hear from you. And don't forget to subscribe to the My Movies YouTube channel for more videos on personal growth and the law of attraction. My name is Natalie Ledwell. Thank you so much for watching, and bye for now.